It is 11 o'clock, and today we are going through our technical services portion of our upgrade webinars. And we actually probably have these back to back the next 2 days. If you are not familiar, the structure is pretty basic. We just go over some enhancements and features that we think are great, and maybe some things that you may be kind of like, oh, that's different, come that first day of your 1905 upgrade. We also have on my screen right now that I'm sharing, we also have links to the manual, the release notes, because the release notes actually show everything. I think it's like 70 pages. There are a ton of things to be in there, and we couldn't possibly show them all, but so if you want some more nighttime reading, feel free to print that out. We also have an access to the new schema for 1905. Now, we also have some blog posts that we have started and tutorial videos about 1905, so specific to 1905. Any upgrade webinars we've performed, should I say performed, recently will be here on this page. Those are our recorded upgrade webinars. So instead of Netflix tonight, pass it along. We're watching upgrade webinars with some popcorn. Slowly, we are collecting all our questions from the past, how many is that? 2, 4, 6, 8 upgrade webinars, and populating them here. So if you don't have time to watch, but you want to know what people are asking about, pop on over here. They will continue to accumulate as today and the next couple more webinars that we have this week. Speaking of questions, how do you ask a question? You are all muted, unfortunately. I would love to be able to have everyone chime in, but through webinars, we only allow questions to our chat box and our Q&A box. If you use the chat box, just make sure it goes to everybody so everyone can see it. But Donna is here to assist with the chat and the Q&A box. So as you ask questions, she can either answer you, or if it's kind of a big one, we have the ability to just talk about it out loud. The other link I want to show is our upgrade webinar page, which maybe some of y'all popped over here to register, potentially. We have also added the agenda for each webinar we're doing, and the link for the agenda is, I'm posting it in chat, but if you are on your computer, you can go ahead and we're at the technical services, and there is our agenda. I will do my best to play along. I've even printed it out, and Tinkerbell has moved on, so she is not sitting on it anymore. We're raring to go. Anything I missed? Donna?
No, I think you are set to go. We've got quite a few folks ready for the premiere of the Technical Services webinar. So very exciting.
I did forget to introduce myself.
Everyone knows who you are.
My name is Kelly. This is Donna. We're the educators. Thank you for my the compliment on my scarf. It is cold here in Maine, so I am chilly. But yes, I love this scarf. You'll see it on me occasionally. Okay, so let's pop on over. As I was perusing my agenda this morning, I realized that I was very forceful with some of the technical services, and we talked about quite a few of those in the What's New because I was so excited about them. So these may be some repeats that you had heard if you did watch or attend a What's New upgrade webinar. As always, there is always overlap in these upgrade webinars because a feature may show up on the OPAC, but we want to also talk about it in the admin. So I apologize. That is why the agenda is here. If you need to sneak out because you're sick of Kelly talking to you about what's the last thing on the list, Mana, feel free. I'm not going to take any offense. I'm going to make this an hour because I've got another meeting at 12 o'clock. So without further ado, here we go. This first one is bug 5770, email librarian when purchase suggestion is made. How fabulous is this? This was sponsored by the Northeast Kansas Library System. This feature adds the ability to send a notice to the library when a purchase suggestion is made on the OPAC. Now you ask me what email? Well, let's pop on over to the system preference and I'll show you. You have options. So email purchase suggestion is the system preference. You have a couple different options here. Again, Koha is so fabulous, they can customize it. If you do not want emails, your choice would be none. If you want the email address to go to the branch email, and that is found where, Donna?
That's in the library section under administration.
Thumbs up. So if you are a multi-branch system, you will go and set that up in your libraries portion. If you want a different email to be sent to, then you would choose email address for suggestions and you would add that email in the next box. Or it can go to your Koha admin email address, which is a system preference also. So good options. There is your multi-branch system is taken care of and your single branch system is taken care of. So you have lots of ways to do that. Next, you asked me, what does the notice look like, Kelly? Yes, there is a new notice in our notices and slips library. Head on over to our notices and slips library, and that notice is called New Suggestion. So there she be. These are using the hungry alligators, so we don't have to worry about template toolkit. Although we love template toolkit, this one is not a template toolkit. Oh, my volume? Sorry. I'm usually a very loud person. I apologize. If people have a hard time, let me know again, and I will put my headphones on. So you can see here is our email. This one's actually really unique because it kind of bullets it out. This does go through the message queue, so you could see it in the message queue, and it will be emailed to that address. Any information that your patron fills out, there are a lot of forms in a purchase suggestion. If your library is using that right now, you know, there is a note portion, there's a publishing date, a copyright date, all that, whatever is filled out will be populated in that email suggestion. So you can see item type, publisher, get all the information. Okay. This is fabulous. Thank you, Northeast Kansas Library System. I actually want to say something really quick before we move on, and I know I'm going to run out of time today. I just feel it. Shout out to all the early adopters. I believe Northeast Kansas Library System maybe is one of them, or they've just gone up to 1905 on their test site. But we appreciate all your hard work in making 1905 be fabulous by your testing and letting us know what needs to be improved. So we do have some libraries that actually get 1905 before everybody else, and they are, what are they called? Beta testers. Whenever I say beta, I think of the fish, so I don't actually know what beta means, but beta testers. Okay, now this is, the next one is additional fields for acquisitions. For all those heavy technical services users that have already used the serials module, you will know that within the serials module, you could add more fields to subscriptions. Now we can add more fields to baskets in acquisitions. Because now you have additional fields in 2 areas within Koha, Koha decided, hey, let's put them all together under administration. So let me pop over there. I'll show you what that looks like. So now you will find your additional fields under additional parameters in the admin, and you will have both subscriptions and acquisition options. So 1905, we do get the additional fields for acquisitions. So I'm going to click that one. This is what a normal table looks like in Koha. You can actually create a name for that field. You can tie it to an authorized value. And when I say that, you know, you could make that a yes or no question. So you do have an authorized value that's yes or no. So when a person is creating the basket, they could say this field, yes, this field, no. Or you could tie that to a department. So if you are buying an item for a specific department in your academic library and you are using course reserves, then you could tie it to a department. Or you could have this just be a free text field. So if you wanted somebody to be able to just put in some information, free text. And is this searchable? So once you have filled out all those, I will show you where you'll be able to find those, and if searchable, where you can search them. So just like I talked about, I have 3 set up: verified, yes or no; selector, I'm letting that be a free text, so I could put my name; and then department, I can choose a department that I have in an authorized value. And they are all searchable. So let's pop over to our acquisitions and create a basket, and we will see where those will live. Kelly's Fall Festival Fun. Okay, there's my additional fields here. So I have this verified, yes, selector, Kelly, and this is going to display. So I'm going to make this fabulous Fall Festival Fun display. The selector was Kelly, and it was verified by Kelly, I guess. I don't know. So that's where those fields will be populated. Now, searchable. When you are in acquisition, just like you are in any other module, you always have that search fields. With the search fields, I have this little plus or the advanced search. This is where you'll find those additional fields. So there's my verified, selector, and department. So if I knew I needed to find all baskets that the selector was Kelly, I could go ahead and search that way. Now, these are parts of the schema. So you will actually have them in a table called additional fields. Lastly, this is a permission-based feature. So staff do need a permission to be able to use these and identify these fields. Not use these. If they're already there, they can use them. To create new ones, I apologize. Now, I don't know if we talk about the permissions in admin. I wasn't at the last one, but I can pop over to show you our staff permissions. Did we talk about this yesterday, Donna?
We did, and we will be talking about permissions again in just a couple of hours when I do the next admin session.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm just going to pop over there so you can see the permissions have got a new look, but there is a filter that you can search for the permission, and there it is. Manage additional fields for baskets or subscriptions. So it is a permission under the administration, but yay, the filters. Okay. Now, another feature that's tied with purchase suggestions for all those that manage those purchase suggestions within Koha. Now, if you add information such as funds, library, even price, that will come over to the acquisition portion of Koha, so they talk to each other. So that person that manages them can put in there and say, this is going to come out of this fund. When that purchase suggestion is added to the basket, that will be there as well. So super fun for that one. Okay, does my screen keep on popping weird? Okay, there we go. In our acquisitions, we have the ability to, I don't even know what that means. Making all add to basket action buttons. Oh, okay. If I go to, that wasn't a very clear one.
Kelly is emphasizing the wrong parts of the sentence.
I shouldn't have had that third cup of coffee. Okay. Koha has made these action buttons a little bit nicer and prettier, like it does in all the other modules, that now when you are on a vendor and you look at the baskets within that vendor, you have these actions and you can view the basket. You can go ahead and add to the basket right from here. So like, hello, look at that. That's amazing. I don't even have to open the basket. I could just go, yep, I'm in it. Like one less click. Awesome. This also, a little bit further down in my agenda, so I apologize. You can actually, find one I can close. Okay, let's go ahead. And I even did it the wrong way. See, I even did that. Some of these things you're so automatically going to do, you have to train yourself to do it the other way. To be like, oh, there's a quicker way to do this. So let me go ahead and add something to my basket. Now I have the ability to close a basket. That basket didn't have anything in it. So I was like, you can't close an empty basket. You got to keep shopping. Go shop. So now you can go ahead and go, oh, I meant to close that when I was in there. Close the basket. Easy peasy. I know. Love it, love it, love it. Love the filter. Love everything about it. Now, let's see. Oh, look at this Donna basket. What's in the Donna basket? With acquisitions, there are 2 new bugs that were fixed, featured. This is awesome. Internal notes and vendor notes were always available in acquisitions. However, they didn't follow all the way home. Like it didn't get all the way to the received and also all the way to the bib record. Now, in 1905, if you add an internal note, a vendor note, you will be able to see those through the receiving process, and that internal note will follow it and attach itself to the bib record through the acquisition tab. So let's go ahead and, because I don't have some creativity this morning, it's all caffeine, vendor note, promised by 11:15. Okay, so I can see those were always there. Now, let's go ahead and reopen this basket because this was closed. Close this basket. And now we're going to go ahead and receive this basket. We're going to see those internal notes and those vendor notes appear. There's my, that Donna basket, Full Moon by Jim Butcher. I'm not a big Jim Butcher fan. Is he more like sci-fi? I mean, I kind of like him, but not really. So there it is. There is my internal note and my vendor note. So let me go through that receiving process. Ooh, good question, Donna. What do you think?
So we do have the question of, do we have a choice if the note is attached to the bib record or not? And I don't believe there is an option for that at this point. Unfortunately, I think you would have to manually delete it.
Or we could hide it. We could hide that column in that table.
Oh, good point. Is that have you verified that that is a column that can be hidden?
No, I haven't done anything like that.
Let me go ahead and verify while you keep talking.
So I went and ordered it. It was in the receiving process, and it's also here under the internal note in the acquisition tab in the bib record. Donna's going to find out if this can be hidden, if you don't want this to be seen. Okay. It's really awesome because I think that this would be great for those libraries that do have, I know there's a lot of libraries that love the notes to be followed through. So this is a great way to have that.
And Kelly, we do have a question too of where's the other note? So I think that would be the vendor note.
Oh, the vendor note is still attached to the item in acquisition, but it does not follow it through to the bib record. Yes, only the internal note comes and attaches itself to the bib record. The vendor note goes all the way through the receiving process, but it doesn't go onto the bib record at this time.
Okay, so under configure columns, catalog, there is the acquisition details table. Nope, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong table. So no, that is not a column that looks like it can be hidden, Kelly.
Well, we can ask Lucas.
I'm sure he can jQuery something.
I'm sure he can fabulously do something like that. There is a new feature that when you go ahead and search within that top acquisition search bar, like we did earlier, now you actually get those options down on the left where before you didn't. So you could go ahead and say, oh, this research gave me too many results. I can add more information or change my searching options. So this allows me to have that sidebar to work with me through the search process. This is another one that is super exciting for all those multi-branch systems, is you now have a filter in the acquisition homepage that you can go ahead and show only the funds per branch. So now you can say, hey, I just want to look at East Branch. I don't want to see everybody's. I want to be able to see a specific branch. So that's something that's new and fabulous. Okay. I mean, who doesn't love acquisitions, really? I mean, it gives you so much as we work through the process and everyone's ideas are moving over. This is great. Okay, now we're gonna move over to cataloging. Yay! The cataloging module has something amazing, which I'm super happy about. This was delete the bibliographic record after moving the last item to another record. This was sponsored by Arcadia Public Library and Middletown Township Public Library. I apologize. I always probably am saying that completely wrong. So for all those libraries that have used this feature of attaching an item to another bib record, so if we go ahead and grab a book, and this has one item attached to it, and I'm going to say, I have two of these, I have two bib records. I'm going to go, I don't want two bib records and two items attached. I want to have one bib record and two items. Then that was always there. So let me go ahead and go back to flowers. So this option was always here, attach item. What Kohan wants you to do is grab a barcode and give that barcode to it, and then it will take that item and swoosh it on over to that bib record. What it didn't do before to 1905 was it didn't delete that bib record if it was the last item. So there was an extra step in this process. Now, because of this development, now you can delete that empty bib record if you want to. So I actually have to confirm to delete it. So this was a question from a previous webinar. If you do not hit this delete, it will stay as a bib record with no items attached. If you hit delete, it will say, are you sure? And you say, yep. And then we also have that other blue box that it says it was successful. And I can go ahead and hit OK or hit that flowers and actually see now flowers. Whoops, what happened? Okay, hit OK. Then I can see that we have two items attached. Oh, I hate these tabs. This will make cleanup so much better. I agree.
I do need to go back and clarify something, Kelly. So I misspoke. The catalog tables, acquisition details table does impact that acquisitions tab that we're looking at on here. So you can hide that order internal note column, but what that will do is that will hide everything that's in that field. So like Christopher said, you don't have the option of which internal notes would appear or not. They all will appear. So just kind of be aware of that one, is that you can hide that if you don't want that to show in the staff client, but it does hide any internal note that was placed in that order field.
Got it. Got it. Where is it here?
No, it's not under acquisitions. It's actually under catalog.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're viewing the information in the catalog, not actually in the acquisitions module. So.
Okay. So under catalog configure columns.
Correct.
Okay. Like going back to the catalog, going here? How do I do it here? Okay, so let's go. Sometimes Kelly needs to, this is getting longer and longer. What is Koha going to do when it runs out of room on this admin page?
Exactly. So yeah, cataloging. Yep. And then order underscore internal note.
Okay.
But that will hide that entire column for every note. You don't get to choose which ones get pushed through or not. Yeah.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Thank you, Donna. Thank you for great questions. Who doesn't love the advanced editor? I know a few people in the crowd loves the advanced editor. If your library is currently using the advanced editor, which is a system preference which would allow you to catalog in this advanced editor feature, there is now with 1905 a permission that goes along with this. So you can actually assign catalogers to either be able to use the advanced editor or not be able to use the advanced editor. If Donna and I worked together like in a library, I would not give her permission to use the advanced editor. Or even
I wouldn't either.
So right now the permission in staff permissions is edit catalog, which would give you the ability in 1811 to use both the basic editor and the advanced editor. The permission is new and will be turned on for anyone who has edit cataloger, and you can assign that to a permission if you want to for those Donnas in the world.
Thank you. Yeah, so Heather can have the advanced editor herself. But again, just to clarify, this only turns off the ability to access the advanced editor. There is not a corresponding ability to force people to use the advanced editor and turn off the basic editor.
Yeah, but I love the advanced editor because it's browser specific. So, you know, I could use the advanced editor if I had permission, but Donna doesn't always have to. She can opt to use the basic editor because it's on her browser. So, okay. There is also one more thing in the advanced editor, and that is the ability to configure keyboard shortcuts in the advanced editor. I'm just going to pause for that. I'm confused with these shortcuts, let alone making new ones. You know how many times I've done Control X, which actually or Command X, which actually closed the whole thing. So you can actually come in here and under shortcuts, you can redefine and change them. And this does change them for everybody. I don't know how this is exciting for anybody. I'm really sorry, but I'm glad.
You've got a lot of folks that are very happy about this.
I'm glad that you love it. This scares me because I can't even reset my password without forgetting what it is, let alone changing a keyboard shortcut. So.
Now, Kelly, just for those of us who don't necessarily do this, can I add more shortcuts or am I limited to what is there?
You are limited to what is here.
Okay.
Yeah, this is pretty powerful. I can understand, I don't know, I don't know. I'm happy everyone's happy. I'm not even going to think about it.
I agree, Heather. That would be a nice addition to be able to add more shortcuts to it.
Well, put a bug in there, man. Koha's going crazy, like 437 bug fixes. Like, hello, wow.
So we actually joke a lot that Koha is like that book, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie, because Nick will do something and say, hey, look at this great new code that I've developed. And we'll go, oh, that's great. And can you? And so that's really what this is so much fun, though, is that you do see these basics, and we do continue to build on them. So it is exciting to be able to have that groundwork put in there and then start making them even better. So
yep. Another advanced editor. You thought we were all done with the advanced editor. When you hit edit as new duplicate, it didn't work as we wanted it to using advanced editor, which is also called Rancor, if anyone wasn't familiar. That's the same. This is a sponsorship by Carnegie Stout Public Library. So Andrew's old, what do you call it, alma mater, when you were used to work at a library, now you don't. His old stomping grounds. So now when you go ahead and, let me go grab another record. You hit edit as new, it now will work as it should, like it did in the basic editor. It creates a copy of that record, and you can go ahead and edit that information. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, I know that this is a super really fun thing that we wanted to show everybody. The cataloging basic editor has gotten a little bit of a facelift, wouldn't you say, Donna? So now when you use the basic editor, sorry, Koha loves to force me to use the advanced editor when I go in there. When you go into the basic editor, you can now see these tabs. They're a little bit larger. So the 1XX fields, the 2XX fields, the 3XX fields are still there. You also have the mark tags within each of these tabs. So if I went to the 2 tab, I can see my 245, my 260, and go straight to that field. When I went straight to that field, what happened? That bar floated at the top. So now wherever I am, I can go and say, hey, I'm in the 5, I gotta add a 583, now I gotta add a 505, it's at the top. Or I'm in the 505, oh, I gotta scroll down to the 585, but it's still here. Wow.
I love this. It just makes that navigating through the field so much easier that I don't have to continually scroll all the way up to the top again and scroll back down. All of those, I can just go ahead and click and move from tab to tab. So I really do like this one. As much as a non-cataloger as I am, this makes my life a lot easier when I am cataloging.
Exactly, exactly. And let me just try to find that link, because we had another one within the bug itself. Another community Koha user actually went one step further and showed you the potential to change the look of these tabs to be more specific for what they were for those non-catalogers, such as maybe a Donna in your library. That he said, wouldn't it be great if, I'm just trying to find that link. Wouldn't it be great if I could change the wording here? And I can't.
So for those of us who have no clue what the 600s are, it could say subjects.
Right, exactly. Okay,
so and you do have, I'll let you look, I'll stall while you keep looking. So you do have the ability to, once you've added that code in, you can go ahead and describe that however you want. So you could say 600s dash subjects. You could say 200 / title information. So you have a lot of flexibility. You can make those labels whatever you want them to be.
So this community member went ahead and actually used some JavaScript, jQuery, I don't know what the difference is, and made these different words. Yes, these are customizable. So if you do want to add this, this will be part of the question and answers. If you don't feel comfortable modifying this yourself, go ahead and submit a ticket. If you want to add this but modify the descriptions, go ahead and submit a ticket. We're happy to walk through that with you. It's actually all the jQuery is in the bug itself as well. So I'm going to shout out to whoever did that. And I knew his name or that person's name at the time, but it is gone out of my head.
It's a very nice enhancement. I like the tabs and I like the ability to customize them. I think it's a huge step forward.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let me cancel out of, oh, let me pop out of Jesse's. Not that it really matters. Something really simple, which I know some libraries will appreciate, is when you are in the cataloging search, there's now links page by page at the top and at the bottom. So that's been a kind of a theme through the last couple upgrades, is making sure that a lot of these features are top and bottom. To wherever you are on the page, you can get there. Okay. The last thing in cataloging I'm going to show is the ability to, there's just a little bit of clarification if you are one of those people that feels comfortable to go into the frameworks within your system. So in admin, going over to the MARC bibliographic framework, there's been some clarification on what these actions mean over here on the right-hand side. So I'm going to pop over to my default structure. If this is one area you do not ever like to go in, then disregard. But for those who may want to come in here and edit these themselves, there is some now new descriptions that will allow you to understand what you're doing. So you can edit this tag, which really I'll pop over there. And this just said edit, I think, in 1811. This is going ahead and editing just this area. For the subfields, if you wanted to view or edit those, you actually have that option here. Both will bring you to the same place, but now it's kind of in your head that it's subfields. So I can go ahead and edit subfield. Well, let me go into something a little bit more clear than the OO. Let's go into this one. Yes, it is much better. So now I know I'm going into subfields, where before I think it just said edit and view. So just a little bit more clarification, which I love. Okay. So we really don't have a ton in the serials portion of Koha for 1905. The additional fields for subscriptions that used to live here is now over in the admin module. But we do have one thing which I actually really like, and that is just a little bit of cleanup that was made on the subscription page. If I go in and edit a subscription within the serials module, go to this next page, I now have some locks. So I can tell that this subscription that I'm in is linked to this pattern volume number. And this is hard coded, and I'm saying that all wrong. I try to be a coder when I talk like that, but I know I'm not. But it also leads you to know that if I need to change it, I'm going to modify it. So before, there were no locks, and still to this day, would go in and try to modify it and go, oh, Koha's not going to let me. So now it gives me, hey, you need to change this? Great, go ahead and modify that pattern. That will unlock the locks. Okay. Another thing it did, maybe nobody noticed, is it made a little test prediction pattern button versus the link. So just some kind of cleanup, and I think that it's a lot better. Dawn and I were just talking about the serials module, how we'd love to see a lot more love to it. So, you know, every little bit helps. I am not going to go straight into the mana portion of serials till the end. So I apologize, but according to my document, I'm supposed to go to tools next, but we will pop back over to serials to do mana at the end. Okay, tools. Ooh, tools. Within the tools portion of Koha, if you are using patron imports, so for all those libraries that are importing a file of patrons, small academics, and they're doing it manually, not a backend import, you now have the option. This actually cleaned up a bit, didn't it? Did you notice this? This is crazy. Prior to 1905, the default for patron attributes was to replace all. That doesn't make much sense because most of the time we're only replacing what we're including. So now the default is replace only included. So that will always be marked as the default. Before it was marked as this. This also got a cleaner form because before it was just this really long form. Now, when I'm going through the process, I can go ahead and add default values. If this doesn't pertain to my library, I don't have to expand that. So this page always scared me. There was just so much going on. So now it's cleaner. Yes, there's a lot that scares me in Koha sometimes. Not really. I'm just kidding.
I think I probably scare you more than anything when I get in there and start saying, "Hey, let's try this."
Oh, yes. Not a lot to show for the next couple. When you staged files to import, you sometimes got errors that weren't very understandable. And now the display of your error will be a little bit more clearer. So that's nice. The next one is when you batch modify items. You have a system preference that says, hey, I can batch modify 1,000 items at a time or 5,000, which is fine. That's a system preference. So we're talking about this batch item modification feature. Now, people were experiencing some sluggishness within Koha when they were going through this process, if they wanted to do 5,000 at a time, because Koha tried to load 5,000 before it would continue. Now, Koha has added a new system preference that you can say how many you want to display before moving on. So you may not want to display all 5,000. Maybe you just want to display 1,000 at a time. Then it will actually, the process will get a little bit quicker. So that is just a new system preference for those libraries that do big batches of modifications. So this is called batch items to display. And then this one was always their process. So you may want to just display 1,000, but you want to be able to process 3,000 at a time. Okay, notices. Maybe you guys noticed when I went over to notices and I gave the cat out of the bag, or I let the cat out of the bag, you can now configure columns in notices. So you can actually remove fields that you don't find helpful in this form. So you can see my form got way smaller because I'm really just showing code, name, actions. Oh, I don't know. Donna, somebody's asking what's the maximum to batch modify?
I've always been told to keep it under 10,000 just because of timeouts is what, so we usually say no more than 10,000 at a time. More than that, we can do that on the back end with a much cleaner way to do that. So always let us know.
Okay. So now in configure columns again, more configure columns, you can actually get rid of some of the fields if you don't want to see them. So in this way, I had gotten rid of copy notice. So if I unclick that, and you'll see, oh, and module, I guess. Module. Save. So this is tools. It's called letter T. Who knew, Donna? Who knew? Letter T. If I've unclicked all of them, now look at all these. but I didn't need copy notice. If I was a single branch and I never want to copy a notice ever, I could remove that. And I also had hidden the module because, again, that may not be something you need to see on this view. So some customization for another area in Koha. Okay, is anyone using stock rotation?
I actually had a webinar or a meeting with a partner this morning to talk about stock rotation, and they asked the same thing of how many folks are using stock rotation. So I'll be curious to see. Mm-hmm. No, Christopher, not chicken stock.
I actually don't even know if it's turned on. Well, yeah, chicken stock. Stock rotation is getting a little bit of love in the 1905. The stock rotation table is now sortable. Before, it was just as you added things to your stock rotation, you can now sort them. So for those features that are a little small in the beginning and start to grow, this is potentially one of those. Okay. Another big thing that's happened is within the news portion, you have now control over an area of the OPAC. This means that there was an area in the OPAC that was driven by a system preference called OPAC nav right. Koha is saying goodbye to that system preference OPAC nav right and moving that over to the news module. What does this mean to you? You do not need to know HTML anymore. When it was in the system preference, it was all HTML driven. So you actually had to know HTML to make any customizations to that OPAC nav right. And I'm saying words that may not mean anything to you. This is my OPAC nav right. So over here on the right, before it was a system preference, you'd submit a ticket, you'd fumble through HTML. Now, it's now in the tools module under news. So it's a new option when you create an entry in the news module. So if I go ahead and create a new entry, the location, there's a new location for OPAC nav right. So if I want to add any information there, remove any information there, this is where I would make sure that that location is. Features of the news module, you can have a publish date, you can have an expiration date, and guess what? You don't need HTML. So whatever you write here in this like little word editor will come clearly over to that OPAC nav right. So let's put something really cool. Usually I write something really cool about myself, but I won't.
So Kelly, while I don't have to know HTML, what if you're like me and are just awesome at HTML and want to crush it using HTML?
Good question. You have this little HTML box that you can put in your HTML. Now, a trick I did before this happened is I would type, watch this. If I go, Koha and Kelly are awesome together. If I went in now and put HTML, I could actually see what it looks like in HTML. So sometimes I would steal this to put it over the system preference. Using that little noggin of mine, my dad would be so proud. You also have appear in position, just like you had with all your other news features, whether that's your staff client or that main block on your OPAC. So let's go ahead and put that. I should have put your name, Donna, too. Sorry. We pop over to train one and refresh. Oh, and it didn't, my zero didn't work. Probably this one's a zero as well. If you have multiple zeros, Koha's like, I'm going to go with the first one. So there we go. I have it over here on my right. All done for me. Look at that. Amazing. Just a little hint. Anything that was, well, a little note, anything that was in that system preference OPAC nav right will move over to your news portion by itself through the upgrade process. Second, like a little tidbit of information, more of the control of your OPAC display will be moving over to the news module. So in 1911, I think we're doing another portion here, and that's going to be moved over. So more control for you all, more control. Okay, my last thing within the tools module, no questions, right, Donna? My last feature in the news is if you are using lists in Koha, so that is whether you're using lists to talk about new books in your collection, or you're using lists more of on a staff side and curating lists for projects, you now have the ability to take the contents of a list and push them over to your batch record modification and your batch record deletion. So if you can see I have two lists in my public list area. If I go over here into my tools and go to batch record deletion or modification, I now have the option. It squished it a little bit too. This view is a little different. I can still upload a file. I can now select a list of records. Oh, so I could go ahead and say, yes, this is the area, this is the list of things that I want to modify. So this is really cool. Currently, this is only for record modification or deletion, not item. So if anyone wants to say, I wonder if it's going to happen to items, we can submit something if you want. So again, you can see the form has changed a bit. So you still have all the other options, upload that file and enter a list, but you have the ability to select a list of records. Yep, it's awesome. Give it a try and let us know.
Just real quick, I'm going to point out that Kelly briefly took away some of my thunder from my session this afternoon on permissions, but there is some jQuery that Christopher has posted that lets you set up quick set and clear buttons and permissions, and lets you copy permissions to another borrower. So he did put that link in the chat. We will go ahead and include this in the notes under permissions to include that also, because it's some really handy permission to have available, or some really handy buttons to have available.
Awesome. Thank you, Christopher. Thank you, Donna. I'm sorry I stole your thunder. You've got a lot of other things to talk about. Okay. Yay. Okay. My last final thing to show off is Mana. Mana. I'm saying it wrong. There's a few Koha people that will have my neck if they ever meet me. This is a knowledge base system place that's storing Koha information that allows libraries to share it with each other. Specifically right now in 1905, it will allow you to search other libraries' serial patterns that are in Mana and reports that are in Mana. There is a little bit of configuration that needs to happen on your side to do that. We have 3 blog posts on setting it up, using it in serials, and using it in reports. So there is a lot of documentation for you. This is a one setup per Koha system. So if you're a multi-branch, only one person has to go ahead and grab that information and that token. After that, you are good to go. Anybody can use it. So I'm always... I'm going to go to the Mana admin page. So you need to go through and activate your Mana subscription and get a token. They'll email it. Yes, I'm excited to learn as well, and I won't remember. You'll get a token in the email, you'll throw it in there, and then you're good. What Bywater did when we were testing this, we said, hey, this was created by BibLeap. So there's a lot of French subscriptions for serials that are here. Wouldn't it be great if we asked from partners for their serial patterns to make Mana more robust for our US libraries? So that's what we did. Thank you to the partners that said yes. We also did that for the reports. We know that a lot of you have great reports, and we said, hey, wouldn't it be great to make Mana more robust in that form? So again, we went out, exported that information, and sent it over to BibLeap. So that being said, this is the early stage of MANA. Koha community knows that they need to start curating the information that's going to be sent and uploaded and shared, and that's a process that will start. But let's go ahead and pop over to serials and show you where this lives within the serials module. On the main page of serials, you do have a search for MANA. This will allow you to search if a specific magazine lives in MANA. This will tell you what the numbering pattern, the frequency, and information there. We can go no further at this point from this option. However, if when we are building a subscription within Koha, we can actually have MANA searched and imported. So let's go ahead and, I would like to see an import button there, but that's just me. And I think Donna. But I don't want anyone to be like, oh, look at this, and then they can't do it. So let's go ahead, grab a continuing resource, go ahead and add a subscription. When we're here, this is all library specific information. This has nothing to do with MANA. This is just your libraries, call numbers, etc. Now, okay, next page. Now, when you go to the planning, the serials planning, the second page, it will say, hey, I found a subscription. Do you want to see it? Yes, I want to see it. Now I can go ahead and say, yes, I want to use this. Let me import it. So I have this import and it will fill in this information. I can also report it and add a comment. So maybe say this is the European version, or this is the, I don't even know, something else. If I hit import, it will take the frequency and the numbering pattern and pop it in for you. Hallelujah. I can just, it's just amazing. You can take that magazine now and just put in your numbering pattern and you're good to go, because the frequency and the numbering pattern are done. So I can say, hey, I'm 45, number 3, and add that in here, right here. Awesome. Part of the serials module is you can turn on auto share. So you could say, hey, MANA didn't have this. I'm going to share it automatically with MANA. Or you can not have it turned on automatically, but you can say, hey, this one I made, share. So you have the power to share some or all of your subscriptions as you create them. Obviously, whatever I drank this morning, was it too much? A bit too much. So let me go back and go to my cereals. Submit. Bon appetit. And here is my share button. So if I don't have auto share on, I can say this one I didn't find in MANA. I'd love to share it with them because I feel like this one's I did my best work on this subscription, like my best work. This is amazing. Like, I want to stop educating libraries on how to use serials until they have MANA there, because it's so much easier. I'm so excited for you all to use this. Okay. Now, it's always red. It's always red. Within the reports module, you can also search MANA for reports that are in their knowledge base and import them. So back in the day, back in 1811, and you wanted to look for a report, you'd go over to the report library, you'd find that report, you'd copy and paste it, you'd hope you didn't grab an extra space, you'd paste it into your Koha, and you'd be good to go. Now, in 1905, you can now search right from this page. If I go ahead and say new report, new SQL from Mana. I'm going to talk to Liz later. Now I'm like not even sure which is the right way. Search for a keyword in the reports, and I actually have any report that has the word lost that I can grab that SQL. Oh, no, that's not good help. I can see the SQL here. I can't move my mouse, but you can see when I hover, I can see the SQL. I have a name, I have a notes, and I can go ahead and say, hey, let's go ahead and import this. This is not a good one. I can feel it.
So I know that Kelly's rushing through this to get to the end. We do cover this a lot slower in reports this session, the admin and report session. So I know she's running through to take it real quick. But don't worry, we've got other places that we can go over this in time.
Yeah, I think we talk about this in every webinar module, and I didn't know how far to go. So yes, the reports.
You can stop here, I think.
I can stop here.
Well, it's 12 o'clock.
Nay. Really? Nay?
No, Christopher's just torturing you.
Well, as I'm just telling, because a lot of this wasn't said to the whole group, that somebody's going to create a meme on how I pronounce this, and they wanted to know what I was drinking this morning, and it was pure coffee, 100%. 100%.
So actually the pronunciation is mana. It's not manna, but it's mana. So I think that we probably should have a Monday Minutes actually with some of our native speakers to talk about mana, and I never say it right either, koha, because we all say it wrong, so.
Yeah, sure. What do you want me to look up? Somebody has asked me to look something up.
So while Michael is typing that in, Kelly, do you have any last comments?
I do. I do have some last comments. Okay, so cats. I'm going to go to our record in the advanced editor.
And this may be the bug that Andrew just posted in channel too, depending on where we go with this.
Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Here I am. That's really fun stuff, right? Cataloging. Okay, click to edit the item. This one. Oh,
that is a bug that that Andrew literally filed about 12 minutes ago. We are aware it's a bug. It's a bug that's mostly in Chrome. Firefox is not behaving properly either, but it's behaving better than Chrome is. But for those of y'all that want to know, the bug is 23680.
And this is probably because we have early adopters that found this.
Yeah.
But please, this is like, if anyone has test servers that are on 1905, or you're using 1905, or you're in the demo site, which Bywater's website has a demo site that you can try any of these things and you find something like this, please let us know, because the sooner we can get that submitted as a bug. We have amazing developers. They can, what was the bug number, Donna?
Bug number is 23680. Apparently there's a lot of duplicates in there. It was patched and has been pushed to master for 1911, but it obviously will be backported to 1905 also. I have deemed it so.
Oh, okay. I'm sure everyone will listen to Donna. So if you think that you want to come again, we are having another technical services webinar tomorrow.
Yes.
And we'll go through all this again. Maybe I'll have 4 cups of coffee because I'm doing it again.
Yeah, let's not.
Again, we're recording this, so if anyone wants to have a good old laugh, too bad you can't see the chat go through as I talk, so you could actually see the chat. But thank you everyone for coming. Thank you. Please continue to test out 1905 if you're using it, or get really excited and watch some of our other tutorial videos or other recorded webinars or any of the blog posts that we've created. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh.
We'll have Kelly fix that, Elena.
Or Donna.
You don't let me on the website.
Let me write down her email, her last name. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Bye. I'm super late.
Bye.
Bye-bye.